Welcome back into the third game of today's action here at Seabrook Reserve. In the men's division, we've got South Australia taking on WA. Western Australia coming off a tidy victory in round one over the Northern Territory, while South Australia looking to bounce back after a heavy defeat against Victoria. It'll be South Australia running from right to left on your screens. Jake Deasing to get us underway. Sends it high up into the sky. Western Australia first use of the football. Straight into their business for WA. Strong carry here. Gets them up to the 40-metre line. Ezra Talmia looking for a quick play the ball, and eventually they'll head out to this right-hand edge. Straightening Gillett. Evans with the dummy half duties. Malako gets a late offload, and coming up through the middle is Siddons. Supporting back on the inside, thought about the pass. Eventually will take the tackle. Strong opening set to start this half. Western Australia looking to send a statement. Now dropping under. It'll be last tackle. What have they got at the back end of this set? A chance for an attacking kick. Down the short side they go. Steaming onto the football. Delays the pass. Look at it go over in the corner. It's a lovely start to this contest from the Western Australians. It was a lovely little bit of work down that left-hand side. It's delayed the pass, popped it round the corner, and the South Australian defence couldn't recover. First blood going the way of Western Australia. Going from coast to coast, some strong carries. It was the nice little late offload from Malako into the path of Chris Siddons that got the ball rolling. Once South Australia were backpedaling, they could never really recover. Tierney just doing the damage on the left edge. He took it all the way into the defensive line. He engaged the centres before popping it out the back. And they'll go over with a chance to convert this try, bringing it out to an early 6-0 lead. Tierney, that one never really had the distance, just sat up in the breeze. Strong winds going to the back of the South Australians in this first half. Caused no such issues for WA on that occasion though, just going the length of the field in their opening set. Perhaps setting the tone for how they're going to approach this match. Really was a tight affair against Northern Territory in round one for WA. It was a 5-minute period coming out of the sheds at half time that ultimately was the difference as they dropped the ball off the kickoff. It's an unforced error and a chance for South Australia to have an immediate response. Got 7 tries to their name. Already won here today, but an error off the kickoff. Couldn't complete after points. Instead opens the door for South Australia, who struggled in attack against Victoria. No doubt fatigue playing a part, having done a whole lot of defending across the 60 minutes. While they're fresh, they won't get a better opportunity than this. Full set of 6 at their disposal. As they look to work it back towards the post. Taug first receiver. Stops, props, looks to bump away from a few. Now on to Bendel. Deasing up on support, looks to poke his nose through. Set up to this left-hand side, but they head right. Long Harbour Bridge cut-out pass, trying to create something on the outside, but he bundled into touch. WA almost encouraging that pass. Sliding defence came across in numbers, and in the end, there was only one outcome going to happen after he threw that pass. Limited real estate to work with on that far side. Back to business as usual now for Western Australia. Looking to make up for that earlier error. Tierney, cut out pass. They're happy to spread it down this far wing. Plenty of pace. Looking to cut back on the inside before being bundled into touch. And Bow came across. They're going to say that the pass was released before he was taken into touch. Daniels will dive the football just past halfway. How about the speed there from Kelly? Thought Daniel Bow, the young fullback for South Australia, had done enough. But a penalty now to compound the issue for South Australia. A piggyback further into their territory. Miller finds touch. Daniels will hand it back into the path of Gillett. Gillett with the mullet. He'll be taken 15 metres out. Evans. Shift out this side. Tierney drops it under. Weaving back through traffic. Deasing left in his wake and he'll go over. It's Bradley Sparrow. He ran a hard, straight, fast line and is rewarded for his effort. Back-to-back tries for Western Australia to start this first half. Too big, too strong, that close to the line. As soon as he wound up, he was always going to be hard to stop. Just isolated the defender there of the halfback, Jake Deasing. Big man on little man. And he goes straight through. So the second attempt now for Tamaho Tierney. As we run through the lineup, wearing number 1 for Western Australia, Gudgeon and Miller. And number 2, number 3, Corbin Daniels. Number 6, Eli Beattie. Number 5, Melly Arthur. Eddie Proudler wearing number 4, Jeremy Wallace in number 7. Ezra Taumia in number 8, Kobe Aisi. The number 9, Malachi Chan-Boon. Number 10, as Tierney strikes this one a lot nicer and adds the extra 2 points. In the front row, or in the edge back row, I should say, Royden Gillett, Bradley Sparrow. Rounded out by Chris Siddons. Jaden Evans wears number 14, Tamaho Tierney, in jersey number 15, Manfred Kelly, wearing number 16 on this right wing. Derek Chizuni in 17, Jared Smith, number 18, Mason Hiko, 19, and Emmanuel Malako. While for South Australia, Daniel Bow lines up at fullback wearing the headgear, whereas number 2, Ethan Barlow-Sewer, number 4, Giannis Bow, 5, Ethan Lawson. Rucker Bow wears number 6. Jake Deasing in number 7. Rowan Happing will be the captain. In number 8, Lachlan Brown at hooker. Ian Tail lines in the front row. Jackson Bendel and Cooper Barlow, the edge back rowers, as a penalty going the way of Western Australia. So ill discipline really costing South Australia here. Just gifting field position. More pressure put on the defensive liners. It's a booming kick for touch. Picks up 30 metres and they'll start their setter directly on halfway. Wasting little time is Sparrow, who hands it off. Damaging run there from Chizuni. Looking for a quick play the ball. Jumping out from dummy half. Evans spins away from 1, runs towards Deasing. Deasing comes away with the football illegally so. Western Australia in a mood, wasting very little time. Siddons, short pass close to the line. Malako, directly in front of the upright, standing in the tackle. Now to this right-hand side. If they put it through the hands, they score for all money. And strolling over goes Corbin Daniels. It's a gift for the right centre. On the back of back-to-back penalties, Western Australia needed no invite. They just helped themselves to yet another try. And they are setting the tone for what could be a long afternoon here for South Australia. What I've liked about this Western Australian attack is when they shift the ball, they shift it with purpose. Everything they're doing at speed, running onto the ball, their timing's right. The pass finds the mark. Simple footy, yet effective. And now more kicking practice for Tamaho Tierney, this time from the other side of the field. Taking his time as he lines up this attempt. Starts it out to the right-hand side, needs it to come back, and that it does. Successful conversion. Using the breeze to his advantage on that occasion. So what a start to this first half from Western Australia. Right from the opening set. They set the tone. They are up for this game today. Plenty of questions being asked now of South Australia. Just looking for some clarification after a few of those penalties. Rowan Happing just having some words with the referee, trying to get a better understanding. Can ill afford gifting them field position like that. As we've seen, they'll make you pay more often than not. Ball ricochets off the boot of their Miller. And Malako, he is a wrecking ball through the middle. Just look at him go. Once he winds up, he's a dangerous sight. Evans. Now Miller. Showed on the outside, little goosey before launching himself into the South Australian line. Wallace keeps it going. Gillett wrestling. Like a cattle dog through the middle third of the field for Western Australia. Always a tough customer. Wallace keeps it going. Heavy shot there on Chizuni. War one as the South Australian defence rushed up to meet him. Once again, making meters for ease. Siddons almost goes through. Beats one, beats two, then gets the pass. The fullback, Daniel Bowe, that's a brilliant legs tackle. Holds on for dear life, fifth and last. Options are plenty down this right side, and it just opens up for Emmanuel Malako, who will never score an easier try. The seas parted, and the big man goes straight through. Add another tally for Western Australia to start this first half. Simply dominant so far.
No, it should be fine.
You can't hear this, can you? Can you hear us talking?
Oh, I will, but like he can turn me down, and he probably has. Like he can't hear much of me.
We don't want to.
But no, you guys are fine.
If you could just turn it.
I'll make sure. Like yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Tierney adds the extra two. As we approach the halfway point of this first half, long road back now for South Australia. A tough campaign for them. Up against some well-versed sides in Western Australia and Victoria to start their campaigns. One thing about these squads, they hang in there. Still showing up, representing their state. Great achievement. Great showcase. Now out from dummy half, Evans scheming. Gets them up over halfway. Wallace jumps in at dummy half. Miller calls him under. Trying to use some footwork close to the line. Skips free. Shows the dummy not once but twice. But eventually coming back again for the second bite of the cherry was Jimmy Gray. Wallace first receiver. Gillett. They'll look to send it high up in the sky. Wallace calling for it. End over end. Testing out Bow. Takes it on the chest and he'll bring it back. Was one of their best in the losing side, Daniel Bow. Touched on, he was part of the Melbourne Storm Pathways program before moving back to South Australia. And now a penalty going the way of South Australia, and didn't they need that? Finally, a chance for South Australia with ball in hand. See if they can orchestrate a four-pointer of their own. Deasing. Ball hits the deck. Picked up there by Ruckabo. Flat-footed, easy pickings in the end for Gillett and co to come across in cover. Now, Giannis Boat. On to Daniel Boat. Slipped out of the tackle before eventually being brought to ground. Deasing. Hands it off. Toa Edwards. Fifth and last now for South Australia. Ether's left-hand side, Bow. Cute little chip kick over the top, a little juggle, but eventually picked up at the back there by Miller. Now Kelly. Drifting cross-field. Going to weave. Breaking tackles for fun. Already a line break to his name. Wallace in a dummy half. Chizuni finds his front, looking for a quick play the ball. They've got a nice head of steam here, Western Australia, getting through their work. Chipping in is Arthur. 4 tackles gone in this set. Siddons. And draws a penalty late in the tackle count. Worst possible scenario there for South Australia. And no surprise, WA quickly keep proceedings moving. Hiko. Proudler hands it off. Now the try scorer shows it, looking for a double. Unselfishly gives it off, and over in the corner they go. It's Manfred Kelly. He gets in on the try-scoring fun. Why not? On this right wing, he's threatened already in this first half. And a simple shift. After scoring one just a few moments ago, Corbin Daniels this time laying on the try assist for his winger on the outside. He's still a bit of work to do, but puts the ball down over in the corner. Just that penalty late in the tackle count. They've done so well to contain them up to that point. Gave them a fresh set. Western Australia sensing the foot on the throat at the moment. They kept play going, wasting very little time. And once they got that roll on, once again found some joy down this right edge. Tierney steps up, starts to the right, once again looking to bring it back, and it just trickles over. Goal kicking pro on this right-hand side in a carbon copy to his conversion attempt just a few moments ago. Adds the extra 2 points. Teasing to resume play. Tierney keeps it moving. Strong carry here from Chan Boon. Evans waits. Try to jump out from marker. Immediately seized upon there by Barlow. Chan Boon, Tierney, drifting, scheming, falls to the ground, gets up, goes again, bit of footwork. Eventually will be thrown onto his back directly on halfway. Little dummy close to the line there from Siddons. Comes out to Wallace. North Beach Seagulls product lofts it into the sky, and Bo does well and holds his nerve. Teammate Bailey Miller was coming through. Bo not deterred. Now WA, they muscle up in defence. Plenty of numbers in the tackle to drive them backwards. There's a little bobble. Tough meters on offer. And driven right back to where he caught the football. South Australia going nowhere in this set. Need to produce something special. Finally get up to their own 20-metre line. Barlow gets them to fifth and last. Need a long booming kick here from Deasing. Instead it comes out to Bo. He'll try his hand. Miller takes it easily on the chest and immediately turns on the afterburners. Thinks about going out to this right-hand side once more. Shows it. He'll fancy his chances. He's trying to break free, but eventually he'll be thrown to ground there. Jimmy Gray coming again. Some desperation tackle, but it's a great kick return. They've set themselves up, setting up camp in this South Australian territory. Set up to both the left and the right. Proudler. Wallace, and just had a little look there, Corbin Daniels. They had some numbers out in this right-hand side. It was Manfred Kelly calling for it on his outside. He puts the ball down. On the back of the scrum, audacious play. It's over there, over the head, and they couldn't keep it in. Ben Morrison tried to reel the ball in. Chancing their hand on the back of the scrum, only 10 metres out from their own line. Can't fault South Australia for trying something different. The risky play not coming off on that occasion. Immediately back under pressure. Pico brought down just a few metres out from the line. Wallace first receiver. Bypasses Miller. Daniels stops, trots, props, tries to wrestle with Bo. Bo wins that one-on-one battle and stands strong and eventually brings him to ground along with Hopping. Proudler. Smith showed the dummy. Proudler, flat pass through the middle third of the field. Chris Siddons goes over. He's brought down just shy. South Australia have held on, but they're not out of the woods just yet. Numbers out to this left-hand side. They put it through their hands, and this time they go over in the far corner. Melly Arthur will stroll over. They were denied a few moments ago by Chris Siddons. But South Australia ultimately stripped for numbers on their right edge. And WA identified that and exposed them accordingly. Melly Arthur strolls over for his first try of the day. So Western Australia, they're out to call some revenge this year, having gone down so narrowly to Victoria in the deciding game last year, 12-10. They lost the match after a chance to win it right at the death, a missed conversion, a penalty goal, I should say. Victoria doing enough to hold on. 32 points to their name already in this half. They are well and truly here on a mission. This is not a leisure trip. This is purely business. Their game against Victoria to take place tomorrow. Must watch rugby league as they look to battle it out once more. When these two teams met last year, it was WA 50 points to 6 winners. They're well and truly on track to better that record here today. 3 minutes left in this first half and 32 points already to their name. Plenty of familiar faces from that campaign. Bailey Miller, Corbin Daniels, Ezra Talmia, all featuring last year. Tamaho Turney as well. Once again, suiting up for their state in this year's campaign. Deasing low and hard. Bounces up kindly there for Wallace. Chanboon. And earns inside a penalty. Fatigue setting in there for South Australia at the back end. They're still struggling to get back on side as Western Australia tap and go. Mason Hiko. Wallace. On to Miller. Assessing his options. Eddie Proudler. Now on to Jared Smith. With 90 seconds remaining. Another penalty going against South Australia, not clearing the ruck. Call actually going the way of South Australia. Apologies. So we'll let off for them, and instead they'll be the ones to kick for touch. Bo taking his time. High in the sky, but it won't have the legs, and instead it'll be brought back the other way by Miller. Fullback not finding touch. Drifting crossfield. We tackled on halfway, and with 40 seconds remaining, chance for more points, and then almost a professional foul there from Daniel Bowe. Just staying in to play the ball. Play eventually allowed to continue through Chanboon. Two or so plays left. Tierney, footwork, late pass. Carbon copy to how they scored there first. One or two more plays left in this first half for Western Australia, flexing their muscles inside the opening 30 minutes. Working it forward is Chizuni. This will be the last play of the half. Chance for more points. They go to this right-hand side where they've had so much joy. Miller, little grubbery, left the ball behind him. didn't make considerable purchase on the football, and that'll be all she wrote for this first half between Western Australia and SA here at Seabrook Reserve. It's those out west in a commanding position, 32 points to nil leaders, set themselves up for a fantastic finish to give them all the momentum heading into the final day. We'll take a short break. Be back with more rugby league. Welcome back to Seabrook Reserve for this clash between Western Australia and South Australia. The man out west taking on the man down south, but so far it's WA who've had all the running, leading 32 points to nil with a full half of football left in store. Plenty of different try scorers finding all sorts of joy on both edges and through the middle. Just a slight delay in the kickoff to start this second half. WA, who picked up a 30-point win over Northern Territory in round one. They've kept the points flowing, so their attack well and truly humming in their 2025 campaign already. South Australia still yet to register a try for the tournament, having gone down 66-0 to Victoria yesterday. Given such a commanding position, don't be surprised to see some players step up off the bench, rest some of their big name players ahead of tomorrow's big game against Victoria, which will have to imagine decide who takes out the CAS champs for 2025. Bailey Miller still just waiting out in the middle. Not quite sure what the delay is. Both teams just waiting around. They're asking the camera crew what's happening. Checking the stopwatch. And the referees now make their way out, so play can get underway. Momentary pause for both teams. They are in position. Not sure if the referees are aware that half-time had ended. Nonetheless, play back underway. Bailey Miller kicks us off for the second half. South Australia first use of the football. Toa Edwards comes steaming onto it. South Australia haven't seen a whole lot of the football. Done an awful lot of defending in that first half. Alo Emil works it forward. 3 tackles gone in this set. Giannis Bow shifts it on. Toa Edwards once more. Alo Emil hands it on to Hopping. Deasing now a little bit of ad-lib football, trying to spark something in attack. Solid opening set. Gets them up to halfway to start this second 30. Deasing just puts a little chip in over towards the wing. And now brought back by Arthur, who drifts crossfield and is allowed to canter before running into an immovable object of Toa Edwards. Wallace dishes it out. Some simple footy out in this right edge. It's worked wonders. It's opened up for them all of a sudden. Shift early in the tackle count. Now they'll go back towards the left. Wallace first receiver. Hands it on. Quick play the ball on the front foot. Wallace, what have they got at the back end of this set? Miller, double pump. Daniels breaks out of 2 tackles, still going. Thought about the offload, thought better of it. He'll be brought down just a metre shy of the try line. Now, down this right-hand side, Miller slices through. Limited real estate to work with, but no such problems for Bailey Miller. He kicks off their second half with a try. Simple yet effective, just putting it through the hands. Saw that they weren't numbered up properly down the short side. Once again, those quick play the balls wreaking havoc. And despite the lengthy break, Western Australia picking right up from where they left off in that first half. Tamaho Tierney to line up this attempt from the far sideline. Playing his local footy for the Willagee Bears. And this time the conversion waved away. Deasing once more. Now coming off the back fence, Emmanuel Malako. Just a bulldozer through the middle third. The try to his name, but he's known for his hard running. How's that for a kickoff return? 30 metres if you don't mind. Immediately WA straight back on the attack. He's a man mountain out in the middle. Emmanuel Malako. Some tall timbers as they go straight through. Wallace in support. He puts on the afterburners, tries to get away from Bo. And Jeremy Wallace, he also joins the long list of try scorers for Western Australia. The halfback supporting up through the middle. And the one-way traffic continues. Western Australia in well and truly in cruise control now. Tamaho Tierney from right in front. Knocks it over, taking his time, wiping a few seconds off the clock. And poor Jake Deasing will have nightmares about kicking off that kicking tee. Process in which he's done a number of times already across the opening 2 days. South Australia still hanging in there. Up against some high quality opponents in this competition. Great to have them here representing their state, but it's WA in cruise control as the Edward Malaco comes up with an error. They're going to pack the scrum. Working it forward. Rare opportunity in Western Australian territory. Running onto it, Bendel. Yanis Bow. Deasing. Pops the ball out. Quickly rushed up was the Western Australian defensive line. Deasing first receiver. Looking to straighten the attack once again. Plenty of black and gold jerseys there to meet them. Alo Emile. Hard and straight. Fifth and last now for South Australia. What can Deasing produce off the boot here? Said they put it through the hands. Bow drops it under. Now a little audacious chip and chase there from Toa Edwards. Collected cleanly by Western Australia. Take it back the other way. Smith, 35 metres out from his own line. Apologies, that was Hiko. That's Smith with ball in hand now as he plays the ball. Just shy of halfway. Hiko first receiver. Chan Boone driving the legs, picking up the post-contact metres. Wallace trying to direct traffic down this left-hand side. Slow play the ball. They'll shift it regardless. And left behind them, Deasing brings it back the other way. Little rugby style offload, pops it out the back. Picked up there by Ben Morrison. So with the comfortable lead, Western Australia not afraid to chance their hand early in the set. Little shift out that left-hand side. Ball was just put down there by Melly Arthur. Now, all of a sudden, Morrison with a bit of space. He's got Deasing on the inside. Pops the ball back. Just opening up ever so slightly for South Australia. Deasing at dummy half. Almost poking their nose through. Holding on for dear life was Chizuni. Deasing. Alo Emile. Brought to ground. 10 metres out from the Western Australian line. Can they produce a moment of joy? Bow, flat pass. Ball back around the corner. He couldn't handle the returning favour from Toa Edwards. And the ball put down. Smith almost hurdling over the South Australian defence. Gets them up. Just shy of 30-metre line. Now Chizuni. It's a strong carry. Ball spills free. Bow will pick it up. Try and catch them napping with a broken defensive line, but Tierney there to meet him. Yanis Bow. On to Daniel Bow. Now Jackson Bendel. Toa Edwards. Customary offload. Smith dropped back and it created numbers for South Australia. It's good hustle there from Corbin Daniels to come across. Tackle had to be made. And then pass off the ground, I believe the call quite clearly was held. The ball carrying arm had made contact with the turf and then tried to promote the ball to a teammate around him. Easy call there for the referee. Daniels hands it on to Smith. Been busy since coming onto the field. Hiko. Siddons. Wallace. Deep pass. Tierney. Footwork. Heavy contact. No way through on that occasion for the young half. Back on the ground is Jaden Evans. Had an extended stint on the sideline, just conserving energy. Have to imagine he'll close out the remaining 17 minutes here. There he is, onto Wallace. Miller, flat pass out. Daniels with a bit of space and room. Ball back on the inside. And they link up once more down that right edge. Manfred Kelly, the beneficiary. Working like clockwork down that right-hand side. Corbin Daniels and Manfred Kelly combined once more. The right centre done all the hard work and then popping back up on the inside. Draw and pass. And business as usual for Western Australia. The extra 2 points added there by Tamaho Tierney. Deason gets play back underway once more. Straight back into their work, Jared Smith. Siddons. Playing for the Rockingham Sharks in the local competition, the number 13. Majority of this squad made up of North Beach Sea Eagles players or Wilgie Bears or the South Perth Lions. So Rockingham Sharks representative, wearing the number 13. Daniels hands it on to Jared Smith. He's been a busy bee out there, wearing the number 18. Getting through a mountain load of work in this second half. Mason Hiko. He continues working it forward. Quick play the ball. South Australia still getting back on side. They immediately attack the left. Tierney, double pump. Well read there. Because wrapping around there was Gillett. Standing in the tackle. Won't be put to ground. How long, cries Jaden Evans. And now the intercept. Toa Edwards comes away with it. Pinched the ball and hands it off to Bo. Big play there by the number 21. He's heading straight for the bench. After coming with that play, he's just hanging out in the wing. He's earned himself a rest after coming up with that intercept for South Australia. He's the world's biggest winger. Put an early kick in for him. And we'll see what he can do as they continue to work it forward. Couple of tackles left in this set. And now a relieving penalty. Deasing kicks for touch, picks up an extra 20 metres. Nice little offload. Bendel kept it going. Toa eventually taken. Bendel, first receiver. He works it forward once more. Second carry in this set. 11 minutes remaining. South Australia on the attack, looking for their first points. Deep pass. Deasing had to stop and get it. Flat-footed. Now jinking back towards the middle. Ball spills out the back. Play on, allowed to continue. Deasing, assessing options. A chance for South Australia's first points. And they get their first try. High fives all around. Boy, haven't they deserved that. They've been toiling away across the past 2 days. Well deserved. Testament to sticking at it. They kept asking the question, and they're rewarded in the shape of a 4-pointer. Purely trivial to the context of the winners of this match, of course, but a nice moment for South Australia. So Ruckabow with the goal kicking duties here. We're inside the final 10 minutes of this contest. Bo steps in and draws it across the face. 48 points to 4. Western Australia just looking to close out this contest, rest up. Having done the job, done the damage in the first half. 32 points to 0 they led. Since they potentially have taken their foot off the gas ever so slightly in this second half. So, wrestling, trying to get up and go again. Western Australia should be careful not to give away a penalty. Interchange of passing close to the line. Alo Emile forced onto his back. And straight through the other side they go. Trying to assess options. Miller there to meet him. He slips out of the tackle. Little bobble there by Bo. Eventually brings it under control. All of a sudden, a few things going the way of the South Australians. Deasing dummy half. Nothing really doing. In the end, easy picking. So, their first choice kicker out of the play. Bo comes out to Giannis Bo. Drifts cross field, trying to create something out of nothing. Little well-weighted kick over the head there of Miller, who's going to try and get out of his own in-goal area. He's got 2 to beat. He does extremely well, Bailey Miller. Had a lot of work to do. And he gets back into the field of play, and they'll work it out of their own end. Now through Melly Arthur. That's Arthur with ball in hand now, and he slips out of the tackle. Good run from the winger, chipping out to help out his forwards. Plenty of post-contact meters. Still driving the legs. Miller, lovely hands. Down this right-hand side they go. Corbin Daniels, a sight we've seen before. Now Miller. As Wallace got blindsided. Daniels does it all on his own. Evans fires it out to Wallace. Tierney. Little grubber in behind the line. It'll sit up here. Good kick chase as they try and drag him into the in-goal area, but he stays in the field of play, so both teams going tit for tat. WA marsling up, looking to drive him towards that sideline. So no, trying to stay in the field of play. Comes up with the error. Not happy with the decision. Said opens the door now for Western Australia. Full set of 6 attacking the South Australian line. Tierney, he'll feed the scrum. Wallace first receiver. This right-hand side, ball hits the deck. Picked up and Kelly assesses options. Breaks a handful of tackles before eventually Bo gets him at the second time of asking. Evans on to Hicko, who goes close. Chance for a try and reply here by Western Australia. Tierney, long cutout pass, Sublime, stepping off the left foot, and that's a try-saving tackle to hurl him to ground. He'd beaten Deasing. Tierney, right foot, Jink, burrows his way close to the line. Brought down just shy. South Australia, resolute in their defence so far. Now they try the crash play, ball spills free. Great goal line defence there from South Australia. Take a bow. Western Australia asking all sorts of questions and they hold firm. You wouldn't know that this side is trailing by 44. 4.5 to go. The way they defended their goal line, like their lives depended on it right there. So much spirit about this South Australian outfit. Now the skip, hopping. Gets them 35 metres out from their own line. Bo, hopping, back-to-back carries in this set. 4 tackles gone. Some confusion, everyone standing still before eventually they put on a shift. Runs towards Tierney. Now down the short side, they put a little kick in, chasing through. And it's spilt at the back there by Miller. Just had a little look. A little fumble with the oncoming kick chase. Well, we saw them score their first just a few moments ago. Perhaps can South Australia orchestrate another try right here? Bo brought it all the way into the line. Hopping finds his front. All of a sudden a bit of life on the back of that strong defensive effort. Ruckabo. Hopping. Been busy in the past few minutes or so. Ever reliable in the middle third of the field. Decent cut-out pass. Morrison was easy pickings up under the rib cage as he looked to secure the football. Textbook tackle. As soon as Morrison left the ground to secure that pass, left himself vulnerable. The ribs were exposed. And Western Australia, through some good defence, they forced the error. Tierney first receiver. Chizuni. Ball is stripped free illegally. So the final 90 seconds. Ball not finding touch. South Australia caught on their heels and eventually they'll scoop it up. Try and stay in the field of play. Sloppy work there from Western Australia. The game all wrapped up. Just a little error creeping into their game. South Australia weren't really aware of it. All very casual before they eventually secure possession of the football. Hello, Amir in at dummy half. Daniel Bowe. Rushing up out of the line was Smith. Couldn't make the tackle. Inside the last couple of plays of this contest. South Australia finished this game with the wind in their sails. Hello, Emil, just drifting crossfield. Trying to produce an offload, does really well to do so. Now straightening the attack once more, Barlow. Tough to bring to ground and he finds his feet. Last play here. Bo tries a little kick in behind for himself. Miller left it behind him. Bo was complaining to the referee instead of securing the football. And as a result, Miller is taken out after putting in the kick. That was a business decision by Ian Tao. Took out the fullback for Western Australia, so a penalty will finish this contest. Miller slightly worse for wear after receiving that shot. Well, he certainly made sure he didn't miss him. Very deliberate. Still one South Australian down in back play. Miller on his haunches. See what Western Australia decide to do here. Going to kick for touch and then have one last roll of the dice. Why not? Points differential could always come down to it. Perhaps an extra 4 points or so could prove the difference between lifting the trophy. You just never know. Stranger things have happened in rugby league. Here we go. Bit of champagne rugby league to finish off this game. Wallace drifting cross field. They put it through the hands. Chizuni flat-footed. Got nothing really doing. Pops a late offload out the back. Miller, he's recovered. All of a sudden, there's a bit of space. Comes out this far side. Little grubber back on the inside. Toe to head. Miller, can he put it down? Yes, he can. What a remarkable finish to this contest. Heads up footy from Western Australia. Hot potato stuff. And Bailey Miller, he grubbers it ahead to himself. and he slams it down to add an exclamation mark to an emphatic performance from Western Australia. Thoroughly deserved win. They were ruthless in that first 30 minutes, putting South Australia to the sword. The South Australians, they didn't go away. A really brave performance in the second 30. But ultimately, Western Australia get the job done, and they'll turn their attention to tomorrow's game against Victoria in day 3 of the Combined Affiliated States Championship. Corbin Daniels will take the final conversion attempt. Tomoho Tieni happy to hand it over, perhaps keeping his goal kicking percentage intact with this rather difficult attempt. Just the sheer number of try scorers for WA showing the talent they have right across the park. Scoring tries in every part of the field, asking questions, not just one side of the defence but the other, not afraid to shift the ball. Certainly a tough proposition for teams in 2025 as Daniel steps in. It'll sit up in that breeze and denied by the woodwork. So 52 points to 4. WA winners over South Australia in round 2. Of course, we have Victoria taking on Northern Territory in a few moments, so don't go anywhere.